Overheads absorption costing method. Main learning objectives. Discuss the meaning of overheads. Discuss the meaning and methods of allocation, apportionment, and absorption of overheads. State the accounting and control of administrative, selling and distribution overheads. Discuss and apply the various methods to calculate overhead rate. Classification of overhead. A. By function. A. Factory or manufacturing or production overhead. Manufacturing overhead is the indirect cost incurred for manufacturing or production activity in a factory. Examples: 1. Stock keeping expenses, 2. Repairs and maintenance of plant, 3. Depreciation of factory building, 4. Indirect labor cost. B. Office and administrative overheads. Office and administrative overheads are expenditures incurred on all activities relating to general management and administration of an organization. 1. Salary paid to office staffs, 2. Repairs and maintenance of office building, 3. Depreciation of office building, 4. Postage and stationery. C. Selling and distribution overheads. 1. Selling overhead, expenses related to sale of products and include all indirect expenses in sales management for the organization. 2. Distribution overhead, cost incurred on making product available for sale in the market. 1. Salesman commission. 2. Advertisement cost. 3. Sales office expenses, etc. 4. Delivery van expenses. B. By nature. 1. Fixed overhead. These are the costs which are incurred for a period, and which, within certain output and turnover limits, tend to be unaffected by fluctuations in the levels of activity, output or turnover. Examples: 1. Salary paid to permanent employees. 2. Depreciation of building and plant and equipment. 3. Interest on capital. 4. Insurance. 2. Variable overhead. These costs tend to vary with the volume of activity. Any increase in the activity results in an increase in the variable cost and vice versa. Examples: 1. Indirect materials. 2. Power and fuel. 3. Lubricants. 4. Tools and spares, etc. 3. Semi-variable overheads. 4. By element. A. Indirect materials. Materials which do not normally form part of the finished product, cost object, are known as indirect materials. 1. Stores used for maintaining machines and buildings, lubricants, cotton waste, bricks, etc. 2. Stores used by service departments like powerhouse, boiler house, canteen, etc. B. Indirect employee cost. Employee costs which cannot be allocated but can be apportioned to or absorbed by cost units or cost centers is known as indirect employee. 1. Salary paid to foreman and supervisor. 2. Salary paid to administration staff, etc. C. Indirect expenses. Expenses other than direct expenses are known as indirect expenses, that cannot be directly, conveniently, and wholly allocated to cost centers. I. Rates and taxes. 2. Insurance. 3. Depreciation. 4. Advertisement expenses, etc. D. By control. 1. Controllable costs. These are those costs which can be controlled by the implementation of appropriate managerial influence and proper policies. 1. Materials cost. 2. Wages and salary. 3. Power and fuel, etc. 2. Uncontrollable costs. Overhead costs which cannot be controlled by the management even after the implementation of appropriate managerial influence and proper policies are known as uncontrollable costs. 1. Rates and taxes. 2. Depreciation. 3. Interest on borrowings. Advantages of classification of overheads into fixed and variable. A. Controlling expenses. B. Preparation of budget estimates. C. Decision-making, accounting and control of manufacturing overheads. The following procedure may be adopted. 1. Estimation and collection of manufacturing overheads. The sources available for the collection of factory overheads may include a. Invoices, b. Stores requisition, c. Wage analysis book, d. Journal entries, etc. 2. Assignment of manufacturing overheads. Assignment of the manufacturing overhead is done on the basis of either of the following two principles. 1. Cause and effect. Cause is the process or operation or activity and effect is the incurrence of cost. 2. Benefit received. Manufacturing overheads are to be apportioned to various cost objects in proportion to the benefits received by them. Cost allocation. The term allocation refers to the direct assignment of cost to a cost object which can be traced directly. Cost apportionment. Apportionment implies the allotment of proportions of items of cost to cost centers or departments. Reapportionment. Up to the last stage all overheads are allocated and apportioned to all the departments, both production and service departments. 3. Absorption. This process of recovering overheads of a department or any other cost center from its output is called recovery or absorption. Absorption of manufacturing overheads shall be as follows. 1. Variable manufacturing overheads. The variable manufacturing overheads shall be absorbed on the basis of actual production. 2. Fixed manufacturing overheads. The fixed manufacturing overhead shall be absorbed on the basis of normal capacity. 4. Treatment of over and under absorption of overheads. There is bound to be some difference between the actual amount of overheads and the absorbed amount of overheads. So the overheads are generally either underabsorbed or overabsorbed. The difference has to be adjusted keeping in view of such differences and the reasons therefore. Steps for the distribution of overhead. Estimation and collection of manufacturing overheads. Allocation of overheads over various departments or departmentalization of overheads. Absorbing overheads over cost units, products. Reapportioning service department overheads over production department. Apportioning overhead expenses over various departments. Advantages of departmentalization. 1. Better estimation of expenses. 2. Better control. 3. Ascertainment of cost for each department. 4. Suitable method of costing.